All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and real birthdays and doing it in real time for at least one guy. One guy out there, and he's not like me and he's not like you. His name is Steve Perry. Happy birthday to Steve Perry, number 75. So I think the big question is, how are you going to celebrate Steve Perry's birthday today? You're going to do something very Steve Perry like. You can't go to a ball game because it's not that well. You can go to a different kind, maybe a football game, but that was yesterday, right? No baseball games, although spring training around the corner. What else does Steve Perry? Doesn't he like ice cream? Isn't there a place in Hanford that's like world famous? And he goes there, he shows up in his classic car, and he buys ice cream for everybody. I mean, with his golden parachute from 1998, and we're talking solid gold parachute from 98, Steve Perry could buy the entire town of Hanford an ice cream and not even put a slight dent in the bank account. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, it's a great day if you're a Steve Perry fan. Now, if you like Steve Perry music, all right, and Steve hasn't released another album since Traces, and some people are still waiting for that to happen, I would check out Voyage and their album Inception. And again, just an amazing album. And it's not Steve Perry. I know the fans are going to be like, no, Dave, there's no substituting for Steve Perry. Stop it. I've had a lot of people tell me that they like this a lot, and it reminds them of the early days of Journey. And that whole period, say from Infinity right through Trial by Fire. Here it is. It's great. And it's not Journey and it's not Steve Perry. So I apologize for that. Anyway, here's the breaking news. On Friday, there were reports on Friday that Steve Perry was about to have a birthday. Okay. Internet-based fan club wishes Steve Perry a happy birthday. Okay. Or from Saturday. This is dated January 20th, but I think the photo was taken on the 19th. Hanford Mayor Travis Payton and Valeska Velleios. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She's from the Steve Perry fan club, Addicted to Steve Perry. The two of them are holding up a banner wishing Steve Perry a happy birthday. So actually, that's from 2023. That's the photo. So apparently they're reusing the photo. But anyway, the same fan club, again, is wishing Steve Perry, and that made news. That made news in what's called the Sentinel. So I don't know if they're just going to run the same story every year at this time. But again, Steve Perry is now 75 years old. So the big question is, for Steve Perry fans, is Steve going to do something this year for all of his fans? 3,600 people in one Facebook group alone, Steve. Steve, there's got to be a song that you have ready to go. There's got to be one song that you could release as a single and call one of your Hollywood friends and say, hey, let's put together a cool music video, right? Ross Valory just put out a video. Just crazy. Ross Valory did an avatar version of himself. I'm thinking Steve Perry, people would like to see an avatar version, or more appropriately, the real Steve Perry in a video. Even at 75 years old, every woman I talk to would still like to hang with Steve Perry, even at age 75. Just putting it out there. So just for the fans, I'm thinking there's got to be something you can do for the fans on your 75th. Now, we know that there are going to be birthday celebrations all over the country, quite frankly, all over the world, celebrating 75 years of Steve Perry, which is amazing. A lot of rock stars don't make it to 75. So Steve Perry, who's lived a very decent and less busy life in the last, 30 years or so. I mean, I think that's doing well for him. In other words, the life that he has been leading is certainly going to promote hopefully a very long and healthy life. And he's already at 75. He could go another 75. We don't know. We're talking about Steve Perry here. We're talking about not just your mere mortal, but we're talking about Superman. Okay. We're talking about a rock and roll Superman who can sing like nobody else. Well, that duet with Dolly Parton. Yeah. It wasn't Steve's fault. Okay. It was it was the fact that Dolly Parton wanted to do a great karaoke album, and the rock and roll community has embraced it as a full-on rock album when it's really just her singing a bunch of songs that we've already heard, where 100% of the time, the original is going to be better, especially in the case of Open Arms. I want to hear the Steve Perry Journey version of Open Arms just to cleanse the palate, to cleanse the musical palate. So yeah, Steve Perry recorded Traces. People were very excited about that. There's got to be a song. There's got to be one or two songs that are close to being finished, one of which maybe could be released as a single, and then call Ross Valory and find out what he did as far as the video they put together for him. There's an avatar version of himself walking through the desert and so forth. So maybe Steve Perry, who worked a very long time with Ross Valory, actually fired Ross Valory from Journey back in 1986, along with Steve Smith, because they deserved it. They kind of sucked as a rhythm section. So I can completely understand why Uncle Steve would do that. So anyway, folks, happy birthday to Steve Perry, 75. We're hoping for something. The fan club, everybody in the world is kind of waiting. Maybe Steve will do it this year. He's 75, you know, maybe he'll go out and do a couple of concert dates. Maybe he'll show up at a Journey show randomly and just thank the fans. Or maybe he'll do a song with Journey on their tour. We don't know what's going to happen. Most likely none of that is going to happen. So yeah, happy birthday, Steve Perry. One more time for Voyage and their album Inception. Again, if you can't have Steve Perry, this is, you know, a fairly inexpensive substitute. You can stream this, you can buy the CD, you can flash back in time and listen to music that you used to hear right here. It's the same quality, it's the same style. It's good old-fashioned geezer rock. Some people would call it boomer rock. I don't know. AOR, which should appeal to the younger folks, should really appeal to them too. The problem is there's no support system to get this music to a younger audience. Maybe a movie soundtrack, guys. Maybe try to get some of this into a movie. Maybe call Steve Perry. I know he's got connections in Hollywood. So there you go. That's my video.